So here we are. We just moved into the theater to start the tech rehearsal for Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. We've been rehearsing the show for 3 weeks in the rehearsal room. And of course, that's where all the pieces come together in there from the acting standpoint, from the technical standpoint. Every week there's a production meeting where all the designers, the director get together and figure out where all the technical aspects are going to happen, how they're going to happen. Sound cues, light cues, try to book as many of those as can ahead of time so we know what to anticipate when we move into tech rehearsal. And then when we come into the theater, we've been working just on a floor plan in the rehearsal room. Now we come in onto the set and start putting all those technical pieces together.
My name is Lily Javorka, and I am the Assistant Scenic Designer and Props Master for Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. This process has been very interesting, and it's been wonderful to work with this team because doing a Tenessee Williams play is magical. He creates this world that allows these people to live into it, and we get to see what life is like in the 1950s in the Delta in this particular home, this plantation home. And not all the time do I get to design and be a part of plays that are in this little period of time. And this is my favorite, and Tenessee Williams is my favorite playwright, so it was exciting to get to be a part of one of his works. As a props master and a props artisan, I think it's very important to know what a props master is and know the different things of what I do. So I pick out different hand props and different set dressings for the play, and my favorite are personal items because I get to think like the mind of who Maggie is and what things would she have on her vanity and what kind of things would Brick have next to his table. It's just little things like that. I love the detail, and there's so much room for detail in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof because it's these people's lives. It's a moment in time with them.
Well, as a designer, we started way back in November working on this show, and the ideal is to be able to work with a director and develop concept and really share vision, not just the visuals, but the vision of the show, and to bring that to fruition long before we ever enter the rehearsal room. And so a lot of that is that process of development. There's a very technical side, obviously, of developing drawings that then can be constructed in the shop, and that's a way of communicating with that group, just as we do through the visual elements of the model. Yeah, so we have really developed an interior and an exterior, although you can tell by looking at it, it's not realistic at all, it's suggestive. The angle of our view is extended and projected, but what we do have on the back is the gallery, which would be like a second floor balcony in a plantation home, and most of the rooms would open onto that for airflow, things like that, but it makes a very interesting play back and forth between those two spaces. So we have that interior exterior, and then we really wanted to bring the action out into the audience, and so we built out beyond the proscenium, and that's the area you see down here with Brick and his chair. Sound cues, where they happen, at what level we want them to happen, how long we want them to play, do they fade out or do they cut abruptly, depending on what the sound cue is.
Oh, I think, what's fun for me is the songs, the music parts we had some composed by a composer, some there we pulled historic music from the period. But then the fun for me is building out some cues where I'm actually required to sort of layer things together. There's a big storm sequence, so choosing different samples of wind and rain and different levels of rain and hitting different surfaces. Really, the QLab program that I use, it allows me to really layer that up. And so that's sort of the artistry that I can bring to it, and really adds to a lot of the fun to hear it, not only for, going from your headphones then to the stage and deciding, do I want them in the house speakers or do I want them into some kind of a special effects speaker somewhere in the distance, somewhere specially placed on the set. So that's some of the problems to be solved.
The same way with lights, we have dramatic effects in there. Some are on a 10 count, 15 count, very subtle light cues. Others need to happen in a way to make it more dramatic. So all that stuff all the pieces get put together right on the other side of this wall. That's what's going on in there right now. We're in the midst of tech rehearsal, making it all happen, putting all the pieces together. It's a mosaic to come together and form that vision that we all have for the play. So we'll try to finish up today. What we don't finish, we'll do on Monday, and then we'll go into dress rehearsal on Tuesday night, to do the same thing with all the costumes, costume changes, make sure those are all taken care of in a smooth way. Final dress rehearsal on Wednesday night, and open Cat on a Hot Tin Roof on Thursday, just the way it was meant to be. Be there.